the biggest lie that Americans have about Africans as a collective. That Americans are our saviors, as though Africans need somebody to come and save us, that we're poor, that we're ignorant, that we are incapable, that we are unable to do anything, and that if it wasn't for white people, nothing would ever get done because, you know, they are our messiahs and our saviors. That is the biggest lies that Africans have ever been told, and that's the biggest lies that Africans also hold. When I've moved here, I'm much more calm. I'm much more less, like, especially if you would have met me first when I came here to now. Ooh, I'm breezy and easy, okay? I'm very chilled out and easy. Even now, like when I go, like if I meet like my family or even my friends who know me, all of them, they're like, why are you so relaxed? Like, what is happening? Why are you so calm? And it's like, because none of this is that serious. Everything will be cleared out and sorted. So yeah, definitely. I was born in Poland, in Krakow. My mom is Gujarati. She's Indian, but she's from Kenya. So she's one of the Muhindis from Kenya. And as they have now been told, they are the 44th tribe of Kenya. And then my father is from DRC Congo, from Lubumbashi. My parents both met when they were in Poland. Both of them were there in school. Just as like a little background, and I'm sure probably a lot of the audience, their parents also probably know people like this or probably have benefited from it. But back in the 70s, a lot of the Eastern European governments, so for instance, Germany, Czech, Russia, Poland, Ukraine, all of these guys used to come to Africa, across all of Africa, and they used to offer out a lot of scholarships for PhD programs, medical school programs, and all of that. So my mom went to Kenya State House School for Girls. And when she was 17, they did a big competition, and my mom won that competition to go to Poland to do medical school. My father won something similar from DRC Congo to go to a PhD school for metallurgy in Poland. So that African met that Indian over there, and then they had me and my sister. So we lived in Poland for a few years. My first language was Polish. My second language was French, because my father spoke French. And my mom, when she was here, she did Swahili and French in school. And then my father passed. And then after my father passed, we moved to London, and we moved with our grandparents. And so now we were two little mixed kids who spoke French and Polish, but we did not speak English, and we did not speak our Indian language, Gujarati. So when we started living with our grandparents, we switched. So we started speaking an Indian language, so I speak Gujarati fluently, and my grandparents were like, you'll learn English in school. And so that's where I learned English in school. And then my grandfather got shifted from Kenya to London, from London to the US, so we moved with them to the US. And I've been in the US since then. And then my mom, when she finished her medical school, she moved to Miami, Florida. Shout out to 305 Dade County. If you know, you know. So my mom shifted down to Miami, and my mom has been a medical doctor in Miami since the 80s, since then. So I've come up in Miami. This is hence the strong American accent. A lot of people, when they meet me, they're like, oh, you're from New York. I can definitely say I was raised in Dade, but definitely New York has shaped me. I spent a long time in my younger years running those New York City streets, for a fact. So I lived in Miami, and then I went to college in Georgetown in DC. I went to law school in DC. And then I moved back to Miami. I worked in Miami as a lawyer. I worked as a defense attorney. I was a trial attorney for a long time. I was really good at it, if I do say so myself. And then I moved to New York and did the same thing in New York as well. And then one day I went out to lunch with some of my colleagues in New York. Two of the ladies were older than me. Maybe they were maybe about 15 years older than me. And I just remember very distinctly sitting there at that happy hour, and I was looking at the ladies who were older than me, and I was like, if this is what it looks like in another 15 years, maybe you should try something different, right? So for me, what really kind of brought me here is So when I was a kid, we used to come to Kenya every year, okay? So, you know, when you're saying, oh, what's your shags? For me, from the States, my shags was Kenya, right? And we used to come to Riru all the time. That's where our main house was, always in Riru. So literally, argument's sake, if school got out May 14th, my mom had us on a plane May 15th, and she's like, you're going to Kenya. And we would be there. And we would be here literally for 3 months. And then every time we would come here, you know, the school schedules were separate. So all my cousins were in school. My aunties would make us go on their school trips. Imagine you are not even going to their school, but if they went on a school trip and we were here, we went on their school trips. So even now as an adult, I still get people from back then where they were like, do you remember that school trip we went on? Imagine, I didn't even go to school here, but I went on school trips, okay? And then we would always do 1 week in Mombasa, 1 week in Mara, and then if school was going back in August 15th, we went back August 14th, okay? So all of that to say, I have been coming to Kenya my whole life. If you were less than 40, I've been coming here and been around here well before any of you kids have been around. And then let's see. And then, yeah, so like I said, I went out with these guys and I was like, I wanna try something different. I had always come to Africa as kind of like as a tourist, right? Like you would come and sit, fine, you would stay for 3 months, but you know, you weren't living here, you weren't working here. And then also coming here as a kid is very different than being an adult, right? So I wanted to see and try and do something different. And so then I decided, I said, you know what? Let's just try. And voila, je suis là. And so we're here now. We travel a lot, I travel a lot. I go back and forth a lot. And so that's how I ended up being here. Hello, and welcome to my crib. Welcome, this is where I have created my space for peace because I'm a big believer in your home should be where you should be the most comfortable. And so I've taken a lot of time and energy and effort to make this a space that I enjoy coming home to, as well as inviting all of you here. So come on in. Anyway, so this is the dining room. I have always really loved the Lamu tables that they do in Lamu, right? The ones where they actually carve it. So I had actually taken a trip to Lamu and found a fundi on the streets to make me this table. This is one of the old school tables where there's no metal in any of this. This is all fitted together with wooden pegs and then fully handcrafted. If you know anything about furniture, making anything ground in furniture is actually really hard. So the table is one of my favorite pieces. And then also on the back wall, I did a lot of art when I first moved into my apartment. And the reason why is I just wanted to create a space that was comfortable. I really like blue. I feel like it's a very calming color. So I painted this whole wall. I actually used tissue paper to do this wall. And if you look up close, you'll see it's like kind of wrinkly and texturized. It's actual tissue paper you use in the toilet. And then this one it looks like it's hard, but it's not. And this is literally, I found a piece of cheap fabric on Amazon for like 500 bob. And I had the fundis put it on a piece of wood. And now you have a big piece of art. Also, I'm a big plant person. The air in here is actually very fresh. Same with this whole area. I just really wanted to make it feel like you were inside of nature. One of the reasons why I don't have a TV in this area is I feel like if we're gonna be coming to break bread and talk, we should talk, right? We shouldn't be watching TV and all of that. So that's one of the reasons why I've done that. And then I just love all things, these old carpets. I love these old carpets. So this carpet is about a 60-year-old carpet. I found it. And then even these chairs are my great uncle's chairs. So I found them in one of my cousin's, one of his storage units, and they were just sitting there. And he was like, oh, I hate these. I was like, oh, give them to me. And so I took them and I reupholstered them. And I just love the vibe. Hope you all love the vibe too. Everything I'm doing here is significantly cheaper than everything I was doing in New York, okay? But again, everything is relative. All right, so biggest one is obviously my rent. My rent is $100,000 per month, okay? My electricity is usually between $1,200 and 2,200 shillings per month, depending on how much I'm actually here. And then obviously with the winter, because it's a little bit darker, it's like that. My gas is just my the 13 liter of gas. And usually I can do whatever that average cost is right now. I don't remember, I don't remember what the average cost right now is for the 13 liter gas, but my 13 liter of gas will last me at least 8 months, around at least 8 months or so. My house girl, she's paid $13.75 for every time she comes. My Wi-Fi is $2,999. My Jubilee monthly insurance is $55,000. For my motorcycle, with myself included, is $12,500. Filling up a whole tank in my bike, now with the gas has gone up, it's about $1,800. And usually on my bike, I get about a good 13 liters on my bike. I don't really go out to eat like that much. I'm a very big cooker, so I cook a lot. So maybe my grocery bill can sometimes, like buying groceries can kind of go up a bit, you know, because I do like making lots of different types of stuff. So especially if you're making like Italian stuff and you need good cheese, that's gonna cost you money, right? Like the good cheese and all of that costs you money, and like good meat costs you money. So I would say grocery wise, because I do cook a lot, at least like 35,000 for a fact. I don't drink at home. I have a very stocked liquor cabinet, but I don't drink at home like that. If I go out, I usually go out maybe once or twice a week. And if I do go out once or twice a week, I can't lie, I'm one of them niggas. I be bringing my own stash of liquor with me, okay? Sorry, not sorry. And then if I do go out, I'll probably spend between, depending, like 5,000 to 7,500. Anyways, and then this is just my garden wall. All of these on top are my orchids. And so when they flower, it's really like beautiful when they flower. If you can imagine, it's just falling orchids and then all of these things. So living room, and this is where we are. Let's go see the restaurant. So anyways, this is where the living and all of that happens, okay? And then obviously, little half bathroom, obviously. I'm a very big, I love cooking, I love entertaining, and I like that. So when I first came here, when I saw the kitchen, that's what made me fall in love. So this is the kitchen. This is where all the magic happens. I'm a real big natural, like I believe in like always eating fresh food and all of that. So I'm a very big cooker. I cook all the time. If you saw my freezer, you would think that I was saving for the Armageddon. I'm not. It's just sometimes I like having things frozen. I travel a lot. And so sometimes it's really nice when I come back home, it's already there. I don't have to make anything, but I know it's fresh and I know it's tasty, and I'm not buying like chicken in. Blech. Anyways, so this is that. This is obviously the adobe area. Ta-da! And then this is the DSQ. I don't know if you want to see it, but it's a little DSQ. We just kind of use it for storage. We don't really, you know, we just use it for storage and stuff like that. And as you notice, we got plants everywhere because plants are life and it gives you fresh air. So come on down. The luxuries of Kenya and how do they compare to stateside or anywhere else? This is heaven. A lady can do all of her lady services and be good, okay? So like to give you an idea, look, manicures and pedicures, okay? Massages, facials, making your hair, even all of the other like extras where it's like invasive, right? Your PRP sessions, Botox, filler, GLP-1 shots, everything is cheaper here, okay? But again, remember, everything is relative. Now, maybe for the average Kenyan, no, it's like these are things that are fully outside of somebody's ability, right? But as somebody, as like coming from America, no, this shit is, it's great, okay? So to give you an idea, I was stateside. I went to go to my sister's spa to go get a 50-minute massage and a regular manicure and a regular pedicure, okay? I spent without the tip, because remember stateside, everything is mandatory 20% tip. Without the tip, 386 USD for a 50-minute massage and a regular manicure and a regular pedicure. without even having like that good, you know, when you go and get a pedicure and they are just scrubbing your feet and you're finished and you feel like clouds. Oh, no. Stateside, they're gonna be like, they're gonna take one thing. Okay, you're finished. No. Me, I wanna see you working. You know what I mean? Get your hand in there, all right? So for instance here, my massages, the guy comes to the house, 90 minutes minimum, 3,000 baht. My mani and pedi, with the tip, 2,500. Making your hair, okay, so anytime I travel, I'm gonna make my hair, right? If I do the knotless braids or if I do cornrows, even with the hair, I'm spending what, maybe 3,500? The same, I had gotten regular straight back cornrows with my hair. I spent 12,000 shillings, okay? And the girl was like, oh, this is cheap. I was like, it should not be this much, okay? I've been doing PRPs, right? So the PRP sessions, it's like doing, you know, they inject your blood back into your skin or your hair to make it grow. So one session here is like, what, 18,000? In the States, I think people are spending like $250 for stuff like that, okay? Your house girls and like all of that, right? Like, look, I don't need a house girl. I'm not a messy person. But why would I not have a house girl? I hate dishes. I hate doing dishes. It's like the worst, okay? I hate doing laundry. It is the worst. Me, I will leave these dishes in the sink for 3 good days, okay? Because I hate doing dishes. Might as well have like a house girl, right? When you're gone and you're traveling, my plants need watering, don't they? I can't just leave them here. That's why, so no, the luxuries, oh my God, yeah, you can't go back. And then ever driving. I hate driving. I much prefer to be driven, okay? Now, have the Uber costs gone up? Yes, but comparatively, imagine you can go all the way to Thika for like what, 3,000 baht? And I don't have to drive, right? You don't have to have a car here, right? I know with Kenyans, you know, you have to have a big car if you are somebody big. I've always lived in big cities where people never have cars, right? It's like, why would you ever bother with the maintenance and the cost of a car? This is stupid. And then when I came to Kenya, everybody was like, if you want to be taken seriously, you have to have a Prado. And it's like, a Prado for what? I was like, and it's not even a new Prado. They sell Prados from 2014 for like 30 million. And you're like, how? How am I buying a car that's like 15 years late for 30 million just to say what? So a Kenyan could be like, you have a big car. Never doing that. So this is the second bedroom. And I've kept it open like this on purpose, right? Because I feel like what happens is when you have your bed just out, it just collects dust, it collects a lot of garbage. So what I did in this room was I had a fundi create this for me. This is what you call a Murphy bed, okay? So on both sides, there's all of this storage, right? So storage, and here there's storage. And if you look on the other side, it's the same thing. There's storage and there's storage. If you notice, the middle is closed. Why? Because this whole thing opens out into a bed. Also, this thing, same, I painted it and added all of this. When I had gone to Senegal, I had come back with mud cloth, and that's what this is. Same tissue design that you saw on the other wall, and then I painted it, and then the gold is just spray paint. But the magic is this part. And so, I won't pull it out, but this is, this thing is so heavy. Anyways, this is a whole bed. And so, if you were to come and spend the night, you would actually have a real bed with a real mattress. And then if you notice how it was closed on this side, this is where it's open. So this allows for you to have, you know, you need your things. Maybe you need your water. Maybe if you're like me with glasses, you need your space for your glasses. And this is now a guest room. And when you're gone, it goes back to what I use for other things. So let me show you the map. Oh, motorcycle jackets, because we're riders around here. And then this is the master. Ta-da! And again, plants. Please note, when I bought this plant, she was this big. Look at her now, so healthy, so lovely. In this room, I painted the ceiling. I had gone to a place when I was in Abidjan, and I'd gone to this restaurant, and they had painted the whole ceiling, and it was incredible. So ever since I'd seen that, I've always wanted to paint the ceiling. So this is where I made my ceiling. And then same kind of the Mali mud cloth print. Again, because hello. And then this is my bathroom. The big old bathtub in this cold winter. This is where it's at. And then this is my outdoor space. And so this is like really nice right now. Because of this, it's gone. But I used to have full privacy here before they started building all this garbage. But anyways, yeah. So this is my lemon tree. I have a lot of different pulgas too. So there's a lemon tree, there's lemongrass, there is mint, there are obviously trees, and then all of these are bloomers as well. These are the yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And then those at the ends are your night blooming jasmine, which to me, I've always associated night blooming jasmine with Kenya since I was a little girl. And so this is it. Welcome to my crib. Okay, so what's one of the things that's much better here in Africa compared to America? Girl, lifestyle. Lifestyle, pure and end all right? Listen, coming to developing world, it's the lifestyle, right? Whether we are here in Africa, whether we are in Southeast Asia, whether you're even in Arab countries, whether you're in any of these places, right? It's the lifestyle, okay? It is more calm. It's less stressful. You have help, right? Like one of the biggest things in the States is, and I think a lot of people, I think Africans don't realize when they go to the States, right? Is you do everything by yourself, right? So I definitely remember when I was a kid, you know, you come here, you have a driver, you have a house girl, you've got somebody who's always doing something for you, right? Like you're used to it. Like right now, I would love another chai, but if I was in the States, I gotta get up and go make my own chai, right? Now, this might sound like something small, but for instance, to give you an idea, when I was living in New York, I lived in an apartment building where the washer and dryer was only one set of washer and dryers for the whole building, okay? I remember when I was looking for the apartment, one of the brokers said to me, "Oh, you're so spoiled, you want a washer and dryer in your unit." And it's like, that's bare minimum around here. What are you talking about? So what I used to do is I would pick one day during the middle of the week, I would go in the morning and I would literally use all 5 of the washers and the dryers because I would not do my laundry for 1 good month. Okay, 1 month. You know how many underwear I had? I had like 200 underwear, okay? Because I was like, who's going on here over there? Here, well, I don't even go more than 1 week without anything being done. You get what I'm saying? So I would say the biggest is lifestyle for sure, right? It's just much easier. It's more calm. It's more doable. You're not as stressed, at least, you know, now everything is relative, right? Because I'm sure if I spoke to a Kenyan right now who's never left anywhere, it's like, what are you talking about? Not stressed out. What do you mean, right? So it's relative. But at least for me, and I can also and I could say this with some certainty, a lot of other, let's not even call them expats, right? If they call us immigrants when we go on that side, these are also American immigrants. So when we have our British immigrants and we have our American immigrants and all of them black or white, I would have to say they would have to also say it's the environment, and it's the environment, right? Now, because we're allowing for wild tearing down of trees to put up garbage buildings everywhere, the nature is slowly dying. But I mean, listen, for somebody who moved from New York City to being here, girl, the nature, the fresh air, right? I mean, if you go to countries where they have horrible pollution, you have no idea what a blessing it is to have fresh air, to be able to see trees, to be able to have that, right? For me, I'm a big believer in you need that grounding, you need all of that, right? You can ask anybody who lives in New York City. First of all, you're living in these little cubes. It's the same garbage that they're letting these Chinese put up all over around here. Okay, these fucking cubes, which makes no sense, all right? But you shouldn't be living like that, right? You need space. You need breathing air. You need the ability to be able to live with a little bit of peace and ease. So for me, that's the biggest. Okay, first off, Africans, you cannot keep time. Time, this is where black people in the States get CPT, colored people time. It's from Africans. Okay, an African has no concept or understanding of the importance of time. It will be okay. We'll just come. It's fucking trash. All right, it's trash. All right, it is nonsense. All right, you make a meeting with somebody at 10, they rock up at 11. It's like, what's the problem? Are you out of your mind? You're out of your mind. You have no idea how many people I have left fully because of that. When you understand my time is important, we'll be able to do that. So yes, time, all right? Keeping your word, okay? It does not matter what contracts you keep with anybody in this country. It doesn't matter. If the African is like, I don't feel like honoring it, pop, they're gone. Finished. Oh, I don't, whatever. You speak to an African, it takes you 20 conversations to come to one agreement. 20. It should not take that long to come to an agreement. And then once you've come to an agreement, then the African is going to be like, I don't like this one. You change the goalpost. Oh my God, you can't get anything done. Do you want me to keep going? Here, let me tell you another one. Paying, okay? You do a deal with an African. Where's my money? You have got to chase somebody for 2,000 bob. You will ruin, an African will ruin a functional, professional relationship over 2,000 bob. 2,000. Let me give you another. When you've come and you've had a conversation and then a Kenyan will be like, you are too harsh. You are harsh, I don't want to talk to you, and then you don't pick up the phone. And then we'll call you 4 months later, hey, Sasa, you'll get the one text, hi. And then they wait. You okay? Oh my God, the numbers. So I can keep going on if you want me to, but those are the big ones. Yes, it's obnoxious, it's annoying, and it is a fungus that should be erased from the goddamn culture. We have been in a big state of change and flux and all of that. And so one of, I think, some of my better attributes and qualities is my adaptability, tenacity, perseverance, and problem solution. So when we originally first came here, we were doing a lot of vitamins and supplements and doing things that were natural products to help people with aging, mental acuity, menopause, and all of these types of things. And then things have happened that are beyond our control. And so what we started to kind of move into, and so currently what we're really doing is we're doing medical tourism, where we're helping bringing other people from the diaspora who want to have different types of medical treatment. You can come to Kenya and get it done. We have some of, at least on the continent, in my opinion, based on my experience and what I've been doing, I think that we have one of the best medical systems throughout the continent. I definitely have known of different NGOs where have been in other African countries where if they've had somebody there who's not doing well, they are bringing them to Kenya. So I know that we have a lot of really, really good stuff. So we've been doing a lot of different types of medical tourisms, also offering people services. For instance, if you need to get a hip replacement, if you need to have a knee replacement, if you want to be having a surrogacy, maybe you need IVF services. And then we also do issues of like hair transplants and all of that. Turkey has done a really, really good job with promoting hair transplants and all of that. However, they're not black, right? And so if you have got black hair and you can speak to any hair doctor, they're going to tell you black hair is different than white hair. It's different than Asian hair. Why would you not come to an African country if you're a black to get stuff like that done, right? So we offer a lot of those types of services. Like I said, we do surrogacy, we do IVF. We can do surrogacy here for a fraction of the price that is done in, for instance, Colombia, done in Mexico, done in European countries. And because I'm a lawyer by trade, we also include the law work with it. So imagine 2 for 1. And then we also are in the Airbnb business, and we do offer those types of short-term rentals and things like that. And it also works because, let's say, for instance, if you come with us for medical tourism, we also have a place to be able to house you. So everything's kind of in-house. And then I'm a lawyer. And so I actively practice in the States with law. And I'm right now in the process of finishing up my Kenyan license as well. But one of the things that I really like to do is to make sure that I'm always up to date with what's happening in the law. So I am a part of a lot of different groups here dealing with the legal side of surrogacy and doing all of that. We provide all of that. So that's right now what we're doing. And then I've got some ideas brewing in the future for some other things that I want to do. So you'll stay tuned with what we're doing as you can see some of the new and fun, exciting things that we're doing. That is definitely for the diaspora, but also for local as well. I don't want it that we're here in Kenya and we're only doing things for people outside. That's not what I'm about. I really do want to be able to create something. It is a big need for me, a besoin, if you will, to be able to create something that is for us, by us. Oh, and one other thing I forgot to mention is we also do help diasporans who do want to come to Africa and start businesses, meaning that we will help you with setting up your businesses, getting all of your licenses. Let's say you're in the market and you want to see if a new product can work. We'll do a lot of the market research for you, help you find out if it's a good fit for the country, if it's something that the people actually want. I think it's actually one of the biggest parts of anything that you're doing business-wise. There's no point in you selling something that the people don't want. Right? So we'll help you with all of that from the very beginning. And that includes accounting, finance, bookkeeping, the legal side. You always need a lawyer. People don't like us, but you need us. And we'll also be able to provide you with that. So you can find us at Ties and Connections. If you don't have any ties and connections, you got one with us. So our websites are www.tiesandconnections.com, and it's the same on all of our socials, Ties and Connections on IG, Ties and Connections on Instagram. And then we also do a YouTube channel, and it's called Rita Unfiltered, which is all me. And we're just talking about stuff, and it's just kind of talking about the stuff that I like talking about. And if you're into it, give us a look, give us a talk. And if you're not, you're missing out. And that's all I got. Yes, obviously. Yes. Okay, so just to give you an idea, like, look, I'm half Indian and I'm half African, all right? And even in terms of being a half Gujarati with a half Congolese, there are not a lot of us around, okay? I've never met, aside from me and my sister, I've never met somebody with the same mix. And even when I have seen Indians with Africans, usually the Indians will be a South Indian, not a North Indian, okay? My first boyfriend was his dad was from Nigeria and his mom was a white lady from Ohio. And I remember one day he had said to me, he said, mixed kids like ourselves, we are bastardized when we are children and we are fetishes when we are adults. And when he said that, I was like, yup, that's exactly what it is, okay? So when you're a kid in particular, like, and I'm telling you this, when I was a kid and I would come here, anytime you would speak to a Kenyan, an African, and they found out I was half Indian, it would be a wrap, okay? I remember once, years ago, I had gone to like a bar with one of my aunts. And I remember I was like at the bar, whatever. So this Kenyan guy, I still remember this. This Kenyan guy comes and he starts talking to me, right? He was on my right-hand side. No, he was on my left-hand side. I remember this. He was on my left-hand side. So we were talking, whatever, vibing out, whatever. And then my aunt came on the right-hand side of me and she said something in Gujarati. So I answered her back in Gujarati. She left. I went back to my conversation and this man was just like, what? He looked at me and he was like, why would you speak what they speak? I was like, what? And he was like, ugh. Literally, he takes his drink and left. I was like, God damn, okay? And then here, like I said, my African is not Kenyan. So when I'm here and I was going to Shags, the houses we went into were Mahindi, right? So for me here, when you're an Indian and now you're in these Indian houses, now these Indians are looking at you and it's like, I guess you're one of those Africans, huh? You're one of those, okay? And so now you have to understand when you speak the language and they're talking shit about you, it's also very different, right? So in terms of that here, for a fact, right? Here, now as an adult, it's the same. It's like, ugh, you're a Mahindi. But then the minute an African finds out that my dad's from DRC, their arms are open. Welcome, Dada, you are an African, you understand? So yeah, I get it from both sides. I get it from the Indians, it's like, okay. I get it from the Africans, it's like, okay. For me though, neither side can tell me what I am and what I'm not, like whatever, right? It's like, you can say whatever you want, but then, you've always got people who are, wanting to take from all the different sides. But I'm all, I'm everything, right? I'm a Kenyan citizen, I'm an American citizen. I'm gonna be an African when I need to be an African. I'm gonna be an Indian when I need to be an Indian. And I'm gonna be a whole American when I need to be a whole American. Whatever it works, whatever makes you feel good about yourself, that's what I'm gonna give you. But yes, racism, every day, girl, every day. Okay, this is like a real thing though, all right? As a Black person in the States, one thing you have to be mindful are cops, right? Like you really, really do, okay? I was a defense attorney for a very long time, all right? More than 15 plus years, all right? I have done more than enough trials. I have done more than enough of all of that, right? The way Black people are treated by the police in the States compared to here, okay? Now, again, everything is relative, right? Everything is relative. I know for a fact because of the way I look, because of my accent and the way that I sound, I get away with a lot here. I know that, okay? Which is a pleasure. It's a pleasure. I'm not worried about the police here at all. You get what I'm saying? I can't tell you the number of times I've been pulled over. Right when they hear the Mazungu accent, it's like, Mazungu, you just go. It's a pleasure. I love it. Okay, I love it. It's been great, all right? I'm a real Buddha rider. I usually use either, if I'm not riding my own bike, I'm on the back of a Buddha 95% of the time here. There's been a few times that we've been pulled over on the back of a bike, and literally I'll be like, hey, boss. And they'll be like, you just go. And the Buddha rider will be like, thank you. And it's like, you're welcome. You know what I mean? Stateside, look, when I was younger, I used to get into a lot of trouble. I'm not going to lie to you. I used to get into a lot of trouble. But I have the gift of gab, and I've got the ability to talk myself out of a lot of things. This new wave of stuff, I don't know if I would have ever gotten away with all the stuff I got away with when I was younger now. I don't know. Like, for instance, here, look, like I said, I'm a motorcycle rider. I'll go against traffic. If I see a Buddha going on the sidewalk, even me, I'm going on the sidewalk. If I see the cop there, I don't care. I'm just going to go. I would never do this in the States. Do you hear me? I would never, okay? I would never jump onto the sidewalk in the States. If there was a cop there, yeah, never, never. So it might be like a small thing, but it's a real thing. My life goal is to see the whole world before I die. I am a type of traveler where I like to get inside. So I'm not a big traveler where I don't really go to like all-inclusive resorts. I feel like that's just mind numbing. I run off with strangers all of the time. Let's say you're out at a bar and you're talking to some guy and the guy's like, yo, do you want to come tomorrow and come see this? I'm the type of person, I'm going to say yes. Knock on wood, I've never had any terrifying or scary experiences doing that, and let that good luck continue to carry with me. And I've been everywhere, right? So I've done holidays which are very, very, very high end, where we spent thousands and thousands of dollars. And then I've done holidays where I've literally just booked one small room inside of somebody's house, and it's just like the room. I'm also a big foodie. I love all things, anything, anywhere I go, I'm always gonna suss out anything that's like the local meats, local food, local drinks, where everybody hanging out. And then I like doing food tours. I like doing walking tours because you get to be able to see stuff from like somebody who's local who's there, where they can show you stuff and then you'd be able to go and check it out. I've seen all 7 continents. 2026, I just came back from Antarctica, which was a fantastic and phenomenal experience. I've never seen any place in the world that looks like this. It almost felt like, imagine if the whole world flooded and the only thing that was remaining were the actual peaks of the Himalayas, and that's what it looked like everywhere. It was phenomenal. And now I just want to see what's remaining. So I've completed 90 countries. I do my list based on the UN recognized countries. So I think the UN list is 195. I've done 90. So now my big ones that are honestly remaining is Africa. I've been to about 12 or 13 countries in Africa, but the interior is now where I need to go. The problem with traveling in Africa is it's so stupidly expensive. It doesn't even make sense how fucking expensive it is here. The other day I was looking at tickets to go to Uganda, to go just next door. 56,000 fucking shillings to go next door, okay? I was looking at a flight to go to Zanzibar. I'm not joking. 86,000 fucking shillings to go from Nairobi to Zanzibar. That's retarded. And then let's not include visa costs. Visa costs are like 100 USD. So again, Africans, we never fucking get it. We just never get it. You go to Southeast Asia, you can literally go from Thailand to Cambodia to Vietnam, and you're probably not even gonna spend $300, okay? It's retarded. So unfortunately, if you really want to see the world, you have to come to Africa. We've got 54 countries, but they just make it so hard to be able to travel here. And then just all the nonsense bribery, right? You want to do a road trip, like I had created a whole road trip to go from Ghana all the way down to Sao Tome to go through Benin and Togo and then come down. And everything I'm reading, people are like, these guys at the borders. It's the border guys, you know what I mean? It's exhausting. So I want to see the whole world. I'm going to make it happen. I've decided also after coming from this Antarctica trip, I'm going to be done by 70. 70. Mark my words, 70. I'm going to be done by 70. So now anytime I go somewhere, I always add on a trip. So I'm going to be going to Antigua, Guatemala. Antigua, Guatemala, not the island, and Roatan, Honduras. I'll report back. And then I'm probably going to go do Saudi Arabia in November. And I'll probably go do Panama in December. But I'm going to see them all. I'm going to see them all. For a fact, 100%. 100%. Look at these, no fine lines, okay? Smooth forehead, still here, smooth, okay? It's because there's a less stress. Yeah, for a fact. So listen, when I move, like the way Americans are, right? It's like, everything is always has to be pop, 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 right? You send somebody an email in the morning, you're expecting a response by that morning, right? Everything has to be like everything has to be so much, right? And it's just not true. Like, it's not true. I feel like the only people who really, really have the need or the necessity to be so whatever are people who are in real emergency situations, right? That's it, right? When we were having all those floods and all of that, emergency situation, that should be a little bit haraka, right? You're working in the emergency room, somebody comes in with like real trauma, that's something haraka, right? But like as a lawyer that you gotta file a paper, if you would have managed your time, then we would not be doing all of this nonsense, right? Unless it's something like that. So yeah, so for myself, for a fact, yeah, when I've moved here, I'm much more calm. I'm much more less, like, especially if you would have met me first when I came here to now. Oh, I'm breezy and easy, okay? I'm very chilled out and easy. Even now, like when I go, like if I meet like my family or even my friends who know me, all of them, they're like, why are you so relaxed? Like, what is happening? Why are you so calm? And it's like, because none of this is that serious. Everything will be cleared out and sorted. So yeah, definitely. So, you know, what's funny is I get asked that question a lot, right? Like, where's home for you? You're always moving. You're never in one place. You know what I mean? I really consider myself a citizen of the world, okay? One of my life goals is I want to see the whole world before I die, okay? I am somebody where, let's say you've been somewhere and I have not been, I'll listen to your story, but I'm not really listening. You know what I mean? I ain't really listening. Unless I've been myself, it's like, whatever. So, and I move around a lot. I know I'm very blessed to also have many places in the world that I can go, and it also feels like home, right? Where literally I can literally walk out of the house right now with nothing on me except for my passport, and I can literally go back to my mom's house. Everything is there, okay? I go in the bathroom, all of my things, my facial wash is there, my soaps that I like, everything is there, okay? My bed is there, nothing has been shifted. I've got a whole wardrobe over there. I don't have to take anything from here, right? Same, I can go to the UK. I've got at least one house for a fact I know I can rock up with my passport. All of my things are there. Same in Dubai. So it's not necessarily, I've come home. But there's two things that I associate where right when I'm here, it fills me with a feeling of, I guess if you're gonna say home, it is the smell of night blooming jasmine. Anytime I smell ratrani in the air, I always think about Kenya. And the second one is right now during this winter period. There's something when you go outside and you see it's kind of gray, and then you smell the smell of like burning, or they're burning fire, or they're burning something. Oh, that, I don't know why, it's a really random smell, but it fills me. Who should not be moving to Africa? All these sick ass pedophiles who come over to Africa to fuck on little kids, all right? All these men who are garbage in their home countries who come to Africa in the hopes of finding a wife knowing that they want a maid, okay? Get yourself a house girl. You don't need an African girl to do all of that. The number of American men I hear for a fact, I mean, both black and white, where it's like, oh, these girls, they are so good because they listen. You better have something worth listening to, okay? That's number one. And number two, coming here to think that that's what the girls are here for, to be a man's maid, is retarded. And then all of these whites who are coming here purely for exploitation, where you're only coming in here knowing, you know, for instance, what we've allegedly found minerals over here. All of a sudden now the Americans want to come in and give us Ebola. All right. These Israelis, fuck these Israelis, right? Like, no one else in the world wants them, but guess what? They come in over here. And I'm not saying the ones who have been here for a while. I'm not saying that. I'm saying all these ones are coming here for exploitative bullshit. Um, and the people who aren't here for the betterment of the people, right? Don't come. Stay where you're at. You know, those are the ones who don't need to come. That applies to man, woman, and it applies to every race and culture and all of them. It applies to all these chinky Chinese guys. Same with them as well. And you can go back. How many of these construction guys are out here making all these babies? Like, what is it? They were saying in Meru, they've now had, what is it, the lawyers to come and help these poor black and sorry, these poor little British African kids find their babas in the military because they're just out here. Like, it's not funny, but it's just like, what is happening, right? And now I think they even have so many of these Chinese African orphanages set up, right? Because these African prostitutes, they go to the construction site, all these Chinese look the same. It's like, is it Ying or Yao? Or Ching or Cha? These bitches don't know. They don't know nothing. But they're making all these babies. And then, you know, what do these poor kids got to do with it? And I'm saying this as a mixed kid, right? Like, you know, you're a product of what two grown people wanted to do. Cool, fine, do you. But then who's there to protect that kid at the end, right? These prostitutes go back to their African houses. They're like, I don't know what you want me to do with one of these. And then keep in mind, all these kids, same with the black and African, I mean, the British Africans, Chinese Africans, were bastardized as children. And then we are fetishes when we are adults, okay? The number of African men who have come up and been like, I want my wife like this one, color. Fuck off. Nobody's interested in that. So that's who doesn't need to come. My main advice that I would give to anybody who's moving here is come with an open mind and curiosity. Do not come with the sin of hubris that almost all Americans like to come here and do, right? And it's like, in America, this is how we do it, so this is what you're going to do here. No, that is not what's happening. Understand nuance, understand culture, right? Our cultures in these parts of the world are in antiquity, right? Africans, Asians, Southeast Asians, we've been out here for thousands of years, thousands, right? When you're looking at the history of Western Europe, when you're looking at the history of Americans, it just started, right? They went to the Americas and killed off all of the native indigenous people. And now you have white people claiming that it's theirs. It's not. It's never been. It won't ever be, right? So for me, a big one is coming and having the understanding of the people who are around you, having an understanding of the culture that's around you, taking some time to actually go physically to a lot of these places. I feel like you meet two types, right? Where you meet the ones who are in that NGO, UN, where they think they're saviors. You're not, okay? You're getting a big fucking check from your government to come over here and what? You're not even, I mean, they have rules that you can't even fraternize with the local people. So what are you really doing, in my opinion? So it's that, coming and understanding food, understanding language, right? Being able to understand a few words. The number of Black American girls who I know who are married to local men and don't even know what chumvi is wild business to me, okay? Just understanding that, right? Taking the time to understand the flow and the rhythm of a city and the way people are and the way people vibe and hang out and how they are, right? How you speak. Like I said, I've been coming to Kenya since I was 5 years old, right? But living here and working here is very different than coming as a tourist, right? You have to understand how people say and speak, right? Here, kindly is a big thing, right? Sorry is a big thing, right? Even how people speak, right? Me, I, you hear a lot of that. So just understanding diction and nuance, that's a really big thing. And just how people like greet people, right? Like here you're used to people greeting you and speaking to you and all of that, right? So these kind of small things, I think it's very important, but I think it's something you have to sit down and take the time to learn and understand that, right? I mean, how many times, like, look, one of the big things as an American, you're used to making an order and it comes quick, right? Here, you make an order, it's going to take some time, right? And that's if you're in the city. Now, imagine if you're outside in Nairobi and you go and rock up to a place. If you don't see a fire going and you don't see any grill there and you don't even see an onion back there, you already know whatever you're going to order is going to take 2 hours, okay? So just come with some time. So small things like that. Come and understand and learn. I think I've met a lot of Americans who've come here. They come for 2, 3 months and it's such a shell shock. They go back, right? And then also I think it's and I'm speaking from Americans, Black Americans, right? Because the blacks that you have in Europe are different than the blacks you have in America, right? The blacks in Europe, usually they are coming from one of their colonized countries, right? They're Ghanaian, they're Kenyan, they're Tanzanian, right? They go back, they know where their countries are. Black Americans do not have that privilege, right? They've cut off all of the records, they've cut off everything, any type of tie. The media makes it as such that Black Americans don't want to be looked at as Africans and Africans don't want to be looked at as Black Americans, right? You hear like the thing, right? Most Africans think Black Americans are hood niggas. They got like 20 baby mamas. They're all on drugs. They got tattoos all on their necks. They're walking around with gold teeth. They have no respect. They're not educated. And that is the furthest from the truth, right? Same for Black Americans. When they think of Africans, it's like, oh, you guys are broke. You got bugs on your eyes. Y'all live in like, live in slums and all of that. And it's like, that's not it at all, right? So I think you meet a lot when they come here. They have an expectation that an African is going to openly accept them as like, my long lost sister, the slaves have taken you, you are back. And I think it's a shell shock to a lot of Black Americans, right? I don't think Black Americans take the time. And also for Black Americans, when they're coming here, this is the first time, this is the closest to white privilege a Black American will have is when they come to Africa, right? Because again, the way Africans, you hear the Mzungu accent, you're like, cha-ching, money, money, money. And that's just not the case. It's not the case. I mean, the number of Black Americans, men and women who I know here, they're broke. You hear me? They are broke. They are living on credit, okay? And you have the African be like, I don't care. And it's like, you gonna care when that nigga can't pay that bill, okay? So those are some of the things that I think people should take care when they